Hello and welcome everybody. Today I'm starting a new series and I'm very excited because I've already announced this in a community post. But for those of you who haven't seen it, I've managed to acquire myself 6 samples from the brand Nebiru Parfums, which is a German artisanal house. The perfumer behind it, who's also the owner, and is called Frederic Gieselbach. And he also works for a perfumery as a salesperson or sales associate. And he has started really getting into materials himself. So anything from like ouds, ambergris, different florals, rare oils that he found from, for example, in the basement of some sort of estate that was buried there for decades. And he manages to track those materials down and puts them into his fragrances. So this is the first sample that I got. It's called Agrias Vetiveris II. So this is a vetiver scent, of course. And the second one that I got is called Floris Rex. So that's probably the royal flower or the flower king. Maybe a rose, I don't know. But also maybe an sort of wordplay with Tyrannosaurus Rex. Then I've got Helix from the new XQ line. And then I've got Ruby, and then I've also got Marlina from the XQ line, and finally Seraphim from the XQ line. So I've arranged them in this way because I talked to some people that are into Nebiru, also the person that gave me those samples, and they suggested that I smell them in this direction, in this order. And so that means that today I will be looking at 2 of these, which is the vetiver scent and the Floris Rex scent. And I have no blotters because these are, artisanal fragrances, and I think they should be put on skin right away. So you can see the green juice. So I don't think there's any colorant added to it. It's just the color of the different essential oils. I'm gonna put 2 sprays on my left hand of the vetiver scent and talk about what I smell. Okay, so I don't know if it's just the green color, but it's immediately very green. It's very citrusy. It's got a slight grassy feel, slight minty camphorous feel, and lots of earthiness. And there's also a slight anisey licorice facet that I got from this vetiver as well, vetiver tonka. But this is a lot less creamy. So whereas the vetiver tonka has some creaminess, this doesn't have this creamy, musky tonka type of feel. This is just very planty. Something like a little bit of like a fresh mowed lawn. The earth, the ground beneath the grass. Tons of citruses. So I think for sure some lemon, some bergamot, that type of citrus. Maybe some grapefruity nuances as well that you find in some vetivers themselves as well, yeah. And lots of earthiness, and that earthiness it smells a lot like ginger. So because I have ginger behind me, I use a lot of ginger for cooking. This smells a lot like ginger because ginger, for me, is like a cross between earthiness, citric notes, and spicy notes. And you get all of those 3 within the scent. It has a slightly cologne-like feel in that sense, like neroli, like a little bit of sharpness. It's very natural smelling. There's a slight tartness coming from the citruses, and in the base I can start feeling some woodiness coming through. Let's have a look at the official notes, at least according to Parfum, which do take the notes from himself, from Frederic himself, I think. So this scent came out in 2025. It's the second version of his vetiver scent, and the top notes are Chinese ginger, Italian mandarin orange, African ginger absolute, Italian bergamot, Italian blood orange, Italian lemon, Italian neroli, cardamom absolute, Italian grapefruit. The heart notes are Chinese jasmine tea, petitgrain, orange blossom, Ceylon tea absolute, Davana, and the base notes are Indonesian vetiver, Paraguayan vetiver, Haitian vetiver, oak moss, patchouli, and hinoki wood. And I think he truly bases all of these notes on the ingredients that he puts into the perfume. Oh yeah, by the way, this is how it looks on skin. Slightly oily. But, you know, not as green. I think on dark clothes you would be alright, but on light clothes I would never spray this. And yeah, there's a slightly tea facet coming through. There's some slight sweetness from the orange blossom. And the cardamom as well gives a little bit of sweetness. And the jasmine too. I don't know what he means with Chinese jasmine tea. I don't know if he's done like an extraction of Chinese jasmine tea, or if he actually just means you know, jasmine essential oil or jasmine concrete or whatever. Jasmine absolute. There is a slightly jasmine-y facet that gives a bit of airiness. Perhaps some, you know, hedione as well. I don't know how much synthetics he uses. And then this petitgrain adds to a little bit of this vegetally sharpness that comes from, I would say, the, you know, the vetiver as well, but also the ginger. And it's getting a little bit less sharp, so the sharpness subsiding rather quickly. But the citrus still is big. Like, this is a big citrus scent, I would say. So the main players are the citruses together with the ginger and the vetiver. So the citrus is in the top, the ginger in the bottom, and the link between those is the ginger, because the ginger has citrusy and earthy facets. The vetiver leans earthy and grassy green, and the citruses, of course, are citruses. Yeah, that's very obvious. It's very fresh. I would say this is nice for spring to summer. Although, you know, fragrances have no seasons. If you like to wear something, wear it whenever. But if you want to have to you know, assign this fragrance some seasons, I would say spring and summer. I was saying there's also a slightly almost chamomile tea facet to this. Like, if you've ever smelled that. And a little bit of that fennel. I would say the fresh fennel. So it's like very like a slightly like a vegetable type of smell, together with, you know, fresh leaves. And I hope you can't hear that airplane flying over right now, but if you can, I apologize. Hopefully it will be gone soon. Anyways, I'm surprised because this is not a huge damp, swampy, dark vetiver. It's just very lightly smoky and earthy, but it's mostly green. So it mostly leans into that green cut grass facet, right? This has more, this is drier, and this is also more soapy, and it has that creamy tonka. This, of course, also has creamy tonka, but it's a lot more musky and nutty. But this, the Agrias Vetiveris, this fragrance here, this leans into the green freshness of vetiver, this grassiness, I would say. There's a hint of earthiness for sure, and maybe it's gonna come out more. And it also has woodiness, so I would say this is more of a woody, grassy, slightly earthy vetiver. And yeah, and it has a lot of those fresh notes to brighten the scent up. Yeah, it's really rather pleasant. Let's get to the next one. So that one is Floris Rex, or Floris Rex, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I'm going to do 2 sprays on my other hand, 2.5, I guess. And this, oh, this is very different. I'm going to show you my hand immediately. This has a light brown color. And I would say, yeah, it looks like the oil concentration is rather high. Let's see what this gives me. Okay. Interesting. So this is darker for sure, but I can immediately also detect some citruses in the top. So this has a very typical top note in terms of the citrus aspect, but it is very much more aromatic and green. but like dark green. If the vetiver scent was bright green, this is more of a dark green. There's also something slightly aged wood feeling and something mushroomy. So almost like a dried mushroom type of smell. And there's interesting tartness that is like fruity. So like the citruses. But it's not as bright. It's not as sparkling. Not as effervescent. And maybe a hint of leatheriness is coming through too. I would say like worn leather, maybe like a saddle. But balanced through some sweetness in the base. So there's a touch of sweetness. I would say it's more of a floral sweetness, maybe some orange blossom. I don't know why, with Floris Rex, with the king flower or the Tyrannosaurus Rex flower, I was expecting rose. I was kind of expecting rose, but there might be some rose in here, but it's rather subtle, if there is any. A touch of like a fruity aspect as well. So you can see here the oil concentration is very high. This is the vetiver scent. You can see the sheen, but it's not as oily as this one. There's also an earthiness. So let's summarize. I'm getting citruses in the top, like probably grapefruit, orange type of, more like those darker citruses, blood orange. Darker citruses in the top. Some fresh florals in the mid. So I'm thinking more orange blossom. That's more like maybe some jasmine. But it has this distinct kind of brown feeling, like the juice color is really what I'm picturing, like a golden brown, almost autumnal, like fallen leaves on the forest floor type of feeling. And there's some aromatics as well, some herbs, like perhaps some rosemary or sage or that sort of, category of smells. And then in the base, it's getting more woody and leathery. Aged wood, worn leather. But smooth. All right, let's have a look at the notes. Maybe a touch of animalics as well, like something slightly, alive. So the official notes are, this scent is from 2025 as well. In the top, citron pepper, rosemary, tarragon, cardamom, clary sage, Italian lemon, and thyme. Okay, I was thinking more darker citruses, but maybe because of the other notes together, because of the pepper. Hard notes are Siberian rhododendron, blue cypress, French lavender. Oh, lavender. It's not very lavender forward. Maybe a bit. Gardenia, magnolia, Omani frankincense, pot marigold, so that's like an orange flower, ylang ylang, and in the base it's fossilized amber. You can actually do like a destructive extraction process on amber, like actual amber crystals that is fossilized, and you can get an essential oil from that, so maybe you put that in here. Atlas cedar, black spruce absolute, oh yes, very sprucey, very sprucey. Caged juniper wood, castoreum, so that's the leathery animalics, Gurium balsam, Indonesian patchouli, musk, oak moss, Texas cedar, and white ambergris. Okay, white ambergris. That probably also adds a little bit of that animalic feeling, that alive feeling. Maybe even like a slight touch of saltiness. Although the florals, right, this ylang ylang, that now that it says ylang ylang, I'm getting this buttery ylang ylang in the mid. That gives a lot of sweetness. Yeah, I get the ylang ylang quite prominently. Lavender is just very subtle. This is more complex. So the vetiver scent is very straightforward. You could give that to anyone and they would say, oh yeah, this is like a fresh green citrusy thing. Very, very sparkly, very bright. And this one here is more dark and brooding, but like a golden ambery feel. And it has to, it's interesting, it has like a slight, so both of these to me have like a slight steeped tea feeling. But like I said, this is more of a dark tea, like a dark fruity tea. There's some fruity hints to me as well. And you have those different florals, but there's no rose. Like I said, I didn't get any rose either. But I was thinking more of like orange blossom and jasmine. Maybe that's in his gardenia accord. I don't know, or his magnolia accord. I don't know exactly what is behind those notes. And the spruce is surprisingly detectable to me as well. It's like this very needly coniferous feel. And very aromatic. It stays aromatic because of that spruce, because of that patchouli, and the cypress in the mid. Those are like big notes, and are just sweetened up by the florals. And then I'm assuming it's gonna get more earthy and leathery in the base. Also, yeah, the citron pepper is detectable. That is kind of probably something that threw me off in the top as well. Like this sort of citron pepper is like a very fragrant, woody, smoky type of feeling. Interesting scent. I think the castoreum is really well judged. Um, the level of animalics with the castoreum and ambergris is just perfect. I would say it's like a good entry into that sort of more warming animalic feel that you can get through those materials. It's very balsamic, actually. Yeah. So the balsam is coming through. The more it dries down, it's very balsamic. This one is the more interesting scent of those, but also um, probably less mass appealing. Let's go back to the vetiver real quick and wrap it up. Okay, the vetiver, the citruses have calmed down a lot. It's now much more into that vetiver scent, just a touch of that orange blossom still remaining. It has a slight metallic tinge as well, this Vetiveris Agrias too. So because I think the petitgrain and the ginger, those two can give like a slight metallic feeling. But it's fresh and now it's just starting to get more woody. So the citruses are fading and it's getting more woody. And okay, the conclusion on the Floris Rex. Yeah, this is more interesting. There's now a slightly dried fruits thing coming through as well. Like maybe dried prunes, like, yeah, I would say dried prunes. It has this sort of slightly sulfuric feel too. It's very much a darker scent, like a very autumnal scent. So when you see the leaves turning brown and golden and they start falling down and you walk through the woods and it's slightly damp and slightly earthy and slightly musty. And you have you have like a pack of dried prunes with you as a snack and maybe like a thermo canister of some nice fruit tea to warm you up. That's the sort of feeling that I get from this. And maybe you're wearing some like leather jacket or something like that. It's nice. It's really smooth. So that's maybe the one thing that I'm impressed right now, because a lot of these artisanal brands, they use a lot of high quality materials, but the blending is where it kind of falls short, and you start to feel like, well, yeah, this smells like high quality, but I don't know if I want to wear this a lot. And these are probably special occasion scents. But this is rather smooth. So props to that. I'm gonna wrap up the video now. I'm very excited to get into the more heavier scents. I'm thinking I'm gonna be more challenged with the later episodes. So if you are curious about this brand, please tune back in. Hey guys, quick Drydown update. So Agrias Vetiveris, it kind of turned a little bit more medicinal on me. Slightly piney, pine solly, cleanery. Like a bit of something that you would use to disinfect a hospital, which is not entirely unpleasant, but also not my favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wear this a little bit more often and see if I prefer it at some point. On the other hand, the Floris Rex also had a medicinal part, but not as pronounced, and it actually had more of a bonfiery smokiness coming through. So lots of, like, when you think about autumn, when people start turning on their fireplaces and you have this smoke in the air, that sort of smoke thing, somewhere between that and some smoked ham. So that's kind of where this one went, with the herbal balsamic qualities remaining, and a touch of leatheriness as well. Okay, I hope that was all. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.